Hi, everybody, and welcome back for another month of Past the Scope EDU. I want to say that, first of all, a shout out to all the Past the Scope EDU team. I am sad because nobody's on the spreadsheet except me, but I know members will step in when they can. And I know it's been a really tough time. Talk about hashtag March Madness. It is really a mad time for everyone. Mad in so many ways. Mad angry and mad upside down. So that's what I want to talk about in the next 15 minutes that I have with you. I don't know if anybody's watching, but if you are, welcome. And if you're watching this later, I just want to say shout out to everybody, all educators, everybody who's been going through all of this for the past year. It's been quite a year. So it's been a year, 1 year, just about 1 year since the world turned upside down, as I said. And I say that because so many of the things we were so familiar with have changed over the past year. It's been a year of reorienting ourselves to figuring out how to manage school, online, hybrid, face-to-face with masks, how to be safe. There's been a lot of uncertainty, a lot of anxiety. It's been really traumatic. I'm not telling you anything new, but I wanted to say that it's been a year. And this month, I think we are starting to turn a corner in some places not so much. There is more hope because of the vaccine. And I know I've gotten my first shot, still waiting for my second. That's a long story because it's AstraZeneca and they're telling us 3 months. And in any case, I'm grateful that I have my one shot. For those educators and for those of you out there who have gotten your shots, one or two, and that's wonderful. I was talking to my mother a little bit earlier. Of course, I'm here in Kuwait and she's in Buffalo, and she was telling me it was so heartwarming. One of the news shows she was watching this morning, Eastern time, she said they were showing grandparents and grandchildren seeing each other for the first time in about a year and the reactions. And it was so heartwarming, she said. And so we see hope. It's still, for some of us who are still caught not being able to travel like myself, it's kind of tough. And I pray for patience every day. But on the other hand, we've been back and forth, school districts, schools around the world. Are we in school? Are we out of school? Here in Kuwait, we're still virtual. Now they're talking about going back in September. 16 to 18-year-olds and over are supposed to get vaccinated. The 12th graders are going to have paper exams this year because the virtual online exams didn't work out very well. So the final exams they want to do. So they want everybody vaccinated. They've been trying to do that. Of course, not everybody in the world has vaccinations yet. So the developing countries, the less developed countries, we need to make sure that we get them their vaccines. But in spite of all the turmoil, for me anyway, and for others I've seen, it's been a lot of opportunities. And of course, we have to look for those opportunities. We have to be more positive about thinking forward rather than feeling uncertain and looking backwards. And so for me, I wanted to say that I've looked for opportunities. Actually, the opportunities have been coming right and left, maybe too many opportunities, but which is better than just sitting here and moaning and groaning about the fact that I retired and I'm not able to travel, which is one of the major reasons why I retired. So what are some of the things that we could think about in terms of everybody's opportunities? a lot of talk about reimagining education. And I'm not really sure whether that's a really good way to describe it, but definitely we know what works. We meaning administrators, educators on the ground, not policymakers. We need to be able to make sure that policymakers hear our voices. What works, what doesn't work, and especially what works and what we want to move forward with. We don't want to go back to the way it was. We want to do it better. Okay. And we're not turning schools upside down, as I've said in previous scopes. We need to look at what we have and make it better. So that's an opportunity we all have right now. And we should stand fast, put our feet on the ground and say, we're not going to accept the status quo anymore. We want to change the system. And I see that CanCam is on, and seeing all of those wonderful opportunities. Yes, thinking about everybody opportunities is a great thing to think about. Thank you, CanCam. And so good to see you here. So we want to reimagine schools. I know when CanCam is in Ghana and his schools were closed for a long time, but he's back in school now, which is wonderful. We also want to focus on diversity, equity, inclusion. A lot of disparities have shown up inside different countries and communities, and also between the less developed nations and the more developed nations. Those discrepancies are really clear now, so we need to definitely be doing something about that. We want to focus on social emotional learning, belonging, creating safe spaces for everyone, ensuring that each child sees him or herself or themselves in the literature, in the curriculum, in the building. We've learned all of that. We want to make sure that it's done. And I know there's a lot on everybody's plates right now, but baby steps, as Victoria Thompson says during our Courageous Conversations in EdTech, baby steps are better than no steps at all. We don't have to do it all at once. We just do it as we can. But we don't want to go back to the way it was, because it wasn't working for all of our students, all of our teachers, all of our administrators. Everybody in the building should feel a sense of belonging. We want to make sure that we appreciate each other. I've seen a lot of talk about gratitude and a lot of people showing gratitude. Chris Quinn and his Grateful EDU, Barbara Bray, so many others are showing their gratitude. We need to make sure that we show gratitude for others. We also need to appreciate each other, validate each other, listen to each other, have those courageous conversations, like I said, and really think about what can we do to make things better. And CanCam is saying, the power of belonging. Thanks for this great message, and I have been learning so much from you. Well, the feeling is mutual, CanCam. I learn also so much from you and your perspective, because it's different from mine. And that's what I'm talking about. We need to learn from each other. We need to open up our minds. We need to be open-minded. We need to be growth-minded, growth-oriented, and we need to listen to each other and validate our lived experiences, right? And we also need to show our own selves grace, as Margaret Atkinson says, that I learned that from her, and self-compassion. We have to stop being so hard on ourselves, right? We are sometimes just, as educators, we worry about the ones we didn't teach, and I know that's really important, but we also need to give ourselves grace, and there's a lot that's coming at all of us. A lot that's coming at our students, a lot that's coming at us. We want to make sure that we take care of ourselves, and a way to do that, and a big way of self-care, is self-compassion. let's tell ourselves we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have bad days. And so take that into consideration as we work through things. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about is to say all the opportunities that I've had this year. So I was blogging before, but I started my podcast. I've met the most amazing people that I've had as guests on my podcast. I have been able to register for all kinds of virtual events around the world. And I know many of you have also. This weekend is the TESOL International Conference with some amazing speakers and sessions. And also the SDGs World, I'm trying to remember what it's called, but also today and tomorrow it's happening. And making, we have only 9 years left to make sure that the Sustainable Development Goals are achieved. We need to make sure so that we can take care of this disparity in all places around the world. And that goes for developing countries also. There are disparities in developing countries as well as the less developed countries. So I've learned new skills. I've been teaching myself how to edit audio, and I have been teaching myself how to use Adobe. Today, I want to give a shout out to Claudio Zavallo, who was so sweet, and he agreed to meet me for a little while on Zoom to show me how to create a type of graphic that I was trying to figure out. And I'm a visual person, and so he showed me some of that. I really appreciate that. We're all givers. We're all givers, but sometimes we need to be taken care of. And so I wanted to make sure that we remember that. And so again, a lot of opportunities. I had the opportunity to make sure that I've mentored different students and mentored different teachers. I've met some wonderful people, and it's been a year. And this month, March Madness, it's one that I would say the madness is a happy kind of madness. If I look back on the past year and what I've learned and what I've taken away from my experience, it's been really massive. I've been able to do so many different things. And because of the virtual space and having conferences and having webinars and being able to reach out to people all times of the day, being able to do courageous conversations in EdTech with Victoria Thompson and Melody McAllister was another opportunity that I took back in October. And yeah, it's really, I miss my family, but I'm able to use Skype and I'm able to use Zoom. I probably spend way too much time on the internet, but I have the internet and that's my lifeline, right? So as I wrap up, what I want to say is, truth be told, I checked right before I went on and I couldn't find anybody on the spreadsheet, not before me or after me. I want to tell you that Past the Scope EDU team is overwhelmed, just like everybody else is. I know some will try to hop on later, and I'll definitely catch the recordings tomorrow. But I wanted to pass the scope to the rest of the team. So I'm doing that. That's their Twitter account, PTS_EDU. And I want to say to Val and Brian and all the others, Margaret, Dr. Dan, everybody on the team, I wish you well. And I hope we can really celebrate the 5th anniversary next month of Past the Scope EDU in a huge way. There's a lot of new things coming, hopefully, once everybody has a chance to catch their breath. And I just want to say thank you to the Past the Scope EDU team for giving me this venue to be able to reach out to so many. And I'm just sending you all a really big group hug. Have a good month, and hope to see you for the 5th anniversary in April. Bye for now.